know we had kind of talked about this before. I just don't. And like during the season last year, I didn't really look at James Harden as that guy. But
that's all I could see, man.
Yeah, and in retrospect, and realizing that they didn't have Dwight Howard and that they lost Patrick Beverly, they didn't have Donatas Montaiunas, they had a lot of injuries on that team. It's hard not to think that he was the guy. And so
I argued it all on my previous podcast and on here, but I understand Seth Curry, didn't play in like 24th quarters, but I don't want to get in your mix. Well, go on and finish your point.
So I think James Harden's got a good shot, and the only other thing that I could see derailing that, because a lot of this is opinion, and like he won MVP from the players' vote.
True.
And I think the NBA is and the writers and whatnot who have the votes, there's definitely been some, I don't know what the exact term would be, but it's almost a my bad that's come back from them from time to time.
Or it's a matter of groupthink.
Right, exactly. And so
I don't jump in, but I get tired of what we have to do.
Yeah.
Nah, man, you watching the game. But go ahead. I mean, I just...
My only other guy is Anthony Davis.
Zach Lowe, I'm jumping in all over you, man. I'm not even running the play. But Zach Lowe actually said that, I believe he said that Anthony Davis would win the MVP.
Wow. Let's see. And that's what I said. Like, now, I haven't personally heard or seen him say that, but that's what I mean. Like, I like Zach Lowe, which was why it was so surprising that, like, he was like, the Bucks won't make it at all. But I think that if Alvin Gentry can get the Pels to come out and be a 55, 58 win team, I think AD is high in that conversation. Like, because, that used to be what the MVP was. Like, and to a degree it is, but there's a lot more popularity in it now. Like, best player on the best team. Like that was kind of the staple as to what got it for you. And so I think James Harden and AD, those are probably my 1 and 2. I don't know if Steph should have got it last year, so I don't see him getting it twice at all.
Zach Lowe actually has this his 10th point. Anthony Davis wins MVP and Defensive Player of the Year.
That would be quite impressive.
Being a Prince George's County guy as an infant, I better say that for my wife gets on me. I'm pulling for Kevin Durant to be the MVP. I would hate to see this guy's career get marred or be marred by this foot injury. It seems like something that the medical world and advancements in the medical field would be able to get this right. But I would just hate to see a talent like Kevin Durant, because this is a 6'10", 6'11" guy, and the NBA is just rife with bigs who don't move well. They don't have offensive games, and here's a guy who really has a shooting guard's game.
Yeah.
In a big's body,
6'11" body.
Yeah, and usually we're relying. In the last 10 to 12 years, we've relied on Europe to supply those types of guys. So I'm really hopeful that Kevin Durant can either. I think if he has a MVP type season, I think it's better for the league.
I agree.
And then I think also it'll be good for OKC, obviously. And Billy Donovan is coming in there. But I just feel like he's key in connecting the NBA map, from coast to coast. We need OKC in there. We need them doing well, just like Michigan in the Big Ten. We need we need Michigan to be right. And I just feel like if Kevin Durant has, if he suffers a foot injury or a setback with that injury, it just would put a damper on things for me. I think James Harden's going to be there. I know maybe in the first hoops and hops, I said that I felt like Harden had to control the ball too much, and I think if you bring Ty Lawson in, who's going to dominate the ball more, Harden will obviously have the ball less, which will result in better decisions. I think an offensive player can get off better with the exception of Allen Iverson. I think an offensive player can get into his offense more if he catches the ball on his side, his offensive side of the court, and can use the jab steps, the pick and roll, the crossover. I just think you get into all of that better when you don't have to eat up 20 seconds dribbling the ball. So I think James Harden... Say what?
Dribble the air out.
Exactly. I think Harden is going to be a contender or, a candidate in that race. I would expect that Seth Curry does something. Obviously, LeBron is going to be there, but there might be some fatigue there that it could come back. It could run through Durant, Harden, and Davis. But let me throw a dark horse out there. I know we're getting ready to shut this down. Can Jimmy Butler get into this discussion?
No, because I don't think the Bulls. I just don't. One, I don't know how this Pau Gasol or Joakim Noah coming off the bench. I don't know who it's going to be, but neither one of them is going to be happy about that. I don't think Jimmy Butler, particularly if we've got any remnants of a healthy Derrick Rose, I don't think he gets enough numbers. I don't think there's enough ball for him to be that guy. I think you're looking at James Harden, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and maybe Steph. Not in that order, but I think that's your race.
I'm trying, and while you're saying that, I'm looking for, it was a comment in Zach Lowe's column about Jimmy Butler. No, he actually said that the Bulls are going to be number one in the East. And I asked that question because I think if that's going to happen, I would think that Jimmy Butler has to elevate himself into that MVP discussion if that's going to happen.
Yeah, he'd have to be a superstar. Look, I don't know exactly what Fred Hoiberg is going to run offensively out there. I know he wants to do a lot more small ball, and he's talked about pace a lot. I just don't know. And I guess the intangibles are already there on the defensive side, but I don't know. I don't see that right now. They're gonna have to show me something.
Yeah, his number 4 is that Chicago gets the number 1 seed in the East, and he's just saying that Mirotic is a starter, will be a starter under his scheme, and what else is he saying in here? He does say that Rose may never be him again, but he just said there'll be a lot of drive and kick basketball. But I just solely brought that up, and I like to see that. Speaking of Marquette guys with Wesley Matthews earlier tying the show together, I just feel like it's been amazing to watch Butler mature and develop into what he is, and really that's what the NBA used to be about in the late 80s and the 90s. So Butler is such a good story. I don't know if he really is a playmaker or, he sets the table for other players and whatnot, but I just feel like he's like artificial intelligence, and he's aware of himself now. And it'll be interesting if because he was vocal last year about saying that some of the focus needs to come off of D Rose, and I need to get the ball in key situations. So I'm just saying, if he's watching all of this and seeing what Harden's done, seeing the emergence of Anthony Davis, even Russ Westbrook, doing what he's doing, I just think Butler has that body, physically.
Oh yeah.
And if he can be a better passer, increase his assists, maybe rebound a little bit more, and And then, like I said, if they finish in that top 3, it's probably going to be because Butler had an MVP-like season at the end of the day. As we get ready to close out, we running a little long.
He's a dark horse.
Dark horse.
I agree with you.
It's just a dark horse.
Yeah.
I'm pulling for KD. Quickly, man, before we get on out of here, any Rookie of the Year thoughts or any closing comments?
Just go ahead and call it Homer. I like Stanley Johnson. On a side note, just because, as mentioned earlier, I play a lot of NBA 2K, and I made a trade for this guy kind of unknowingly. Mario Hajenza, I'm probably messing that last name up.
From Miami?
Yeah, or from the Magic. He's with Orlando.
You're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
Listen, I don't know if the numbers on 2K, how realistic they are, but that kid is nice on 2K. And I read a piece about him, like waiting the extra year to come over and whatnot, and apparently he's the dude overseas. I watch a fair amount of FIBA and Interleague and EuroLeague play. I slept on this kid apparently, but if he's half the hype, he's gonna be somebody. But I do like Stanley Johnson a lot.
I don't really have I'm gonna go with him by default, Stanley Johnson, and we need him to be that. But Hajinja, or however you said his name, let's be honest, man. We're not used to white basketball players or European basketball players, from coming over the Euros. We're not used to them leading our teams. And I just think that's what we're seeing here with this kid is like people are reluctant until he proves it,
right?
To get on the bandwagon. But I'm interested. It seemed like throughout the whole draft process that it seemed like all the experts and the pundits wanted to jump on this bandwagon and say that this guy is what he is nice. And so, like I just said with Jimmy Butler, that's been my thing with the NBA is that it's lacked that imagination and seeing guys come out of nowhere. Wes Matthews was one of those guys that, like I said, didn't get drafted but became a starter. So it'd be great if that kid is successful. But look, we're running into we're done. So it's great that the Hoops and Hops was back. Get my co-pilot back. We're going to try to be up more regularly throughout the season. Yeah. We haven't agreed on our frequency just
regularly
yet.
Scheduled time.
Right. But it'd be great if we can do a live show. I don't know what happened tonight with my software and whatnot, but that might be a good look, is to just do some live shows and keep them down to an hour.
Yeah. And I'm getting all kinds of slack because I made this priority. I could not go out and meet some of my people. So shout out to Casey Shaw and Steve Hadley. Shut up, quit blowing up my phone. You're now internet famous.
Okay. Hey, this is the Hoops and Hops show. We're going to get on out of here. Y'all take it easy. Like I said, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start in order to be great. Peace.
Proceed to roll my piece. Backwoods and the onion of green. Burn one, take a break in between.